The movie begins by showing a city above the clouds called Metro City. Several centuries ago, when conditions on Earth were deteriorating due to pollution, the founders of Metro City decided to take a mountain and fly it into the sky. Metro City is a dream place to live because humans live side by side with robots. Almost all human jobs are assisted by robots: playing, cooking, cleaning, and maintaining security. The credit for developing a robot belongs to a scientist named Dr. Tenma. He is the head of the company and the father of all the advanced robots produced by the Ministry of Science. Every day thousands of robots are created. But every day thousands of robots are thrown under Metro City. The abandoned surface of the Earth has turned into a dumping ground for junk robots. In a school we see a boy named Toby Tenma. Toby is the son of Dr. Tenma. He is a smart boy because he easily answers all the teacher's impromptu questions and he comes right back. Toby is the smartest student in his class. Outside school, Toby meets Oren, his father's robot. In the car, Toby meets his father's hologram. His father advises Toby not to immediately settle for his current performance in school, because learning more is very important. Suo is unable to pick Toby up after school because he has to attend an important event with the city president. After talking with his father, Toby tells Oren to go to the Ministry of Science. Dr. Tenma, however, he is on his way to his research room with President Stone and a general with his troops. Toby, having arrived at the Ministry of Science, he follows them because he is curious about the research his father often tells him about. Unfortunately, his father and the president do not allow Toby to enter the laboratory. Elsewhere, Dr. Elephant is presenting a blue energy core. This blue core is a powerful and natural source of energy. The core comes from the fragments of a star that fell to Earth. Dr. Elephant explains that despite its small size, the energy of this blue core can change life on Earth that has been destroyed by pollution. Dr. Elephant further explains that he found another core when he found a blue core, namely a red core. The red core has unstable energy and can have destructive effects if used. The president seems to dislike Dr. Elephant's theories because he thinks the scientist is just a dreamer. Instead, the president is only interested in politics and power, and now he wants the people of Metro City to have a reason to re-elect him as president in the next term. The president tells the scientists to create something useful to earn him many votes in the next election. Dr. Tenma and Dr. Elephant are forced to accept the president's request because their research is funded by the government. Dr. Elephant then shows a large robot into which the blue core will be inserted. But the president refuses to use the blue core in the robot because he considers red energy much more powerful than blue energy, even if it is negative. Once the red core is inserted, the robot begins to run tests. At first everything goes well, but soon after, the robot goes out of control. At the same time, Toby, who had been locked in the room, he manages to get out and sneak into the test room because he wants to see the robot. Suddenly, the robot is about to attack the president and rushes toward him. Dr. Tenma immediately blocks the robot with a barrier. Unfortunately, Toby gets trapped together with the robot in the barrier. Unable to penetrate the protective glass, the robot uses the power of red core in order to escape. Unfortunately, an explosion of the red core kills Toby. Dr. Elephant disconnects the blue core power cable to combat the robot's red core power and, in fact, the robot is successfully stopped. Toby has disappeared. Only his hat is left. Dr. Tenma is heartbroken because Toby is his only son. After that incident, Dr. Tenma has the idea of creating a robot of Toby using the DNA from the hair left on his son's hat. When Toby's robot was finished, Dr. Tenma inserted Toby's memory into the robot. Dr. Tenma also adds the world's strongest defense system to the robot so that it does not fear losing Toby again. Dr. Elephant arrives with a blue core. He seems worried and he warns Dr. Tenma because the effect of using the blue core is not yet known. But Tenma does not care at all. The most important thing is that Toby can be perfect. Eventually, the robot Toby is successfully realized. Dr. Tenma is very happy, and he takes his son home. Toby does not realize that he is a robot. In the morning, Oren is surprised to find that Toby is now a robot like himself. Dr. Tenma says that from now on Toby will not need to go to school because he will teach him everything. Dr. Tenma goes away for a while and he tells Toby to read a book, but when he returns, the father is very surprised because the book he had asked Toby to read was destroyed by his son playing with it. Dr. Tenma feels very sad because the Toby he created is very different from his son. Despite this, he still loves him. Toby, back in his room, he feels strange, especially because he can now understand robotic language when he hears robots outside the window. Toby, intrigued, he tries to grab one of the robots, but he falls out the window of his room. When he is about to crash, rockets suddenly shoot out of Toby's legs, allowing him to fly. This makes him even more confused. However, with time, Toby gets used to it and he flies without any problems, even managing to penetrate mountains with great ease. The boy is very excited about this discovery and he immediately wants to tell his father. Meanwhile, the president and the general notice a strange object flying over the city. The object is Toby's blue core energy. Arriving at his father's house, Toby overhears Dr. Elephant and his father talking about him. The boy learns that he is a robot programmed with the memory of the real Toby. Dr. Tenma does not want to admit that Toby's robot is his son, even though he created it himself. Hearing this, Toby decides to run away. After leaving, Toby becomes the target of the president, who wants the power of the blue core in his body. The operation to arrest Toby begins. When Toby tries to escape, he is hit by a rocket. Apparently, the president wants to kill him to retrieve the core, and because of the hit, Toby falls into the Metro City robot dump. When Toby wakes up in the robot dump, he meets a robot dog and some children named Sludge, Cora, Zane, and Widget. The children accidentally meet Toby while they are looking for some intact robots. Knowing this, Toby decides to keep his identity secret and he reveals that he is looking for a new place to live. Suddenly, 3 robots kidnap Toby. They are named Spark, Robot Sky, and Mike the Refrigerator. Apparently, they already know that Toby is a robot like them and they give him a new name, Astro. Later, Toby decides to go with the children he had met before and he introduces himself as Astro. Meanwhile, the president goes to Dr. Tenma's house and he orders him to retrieve Toby's blue core. Dr. Tenma surrenders, and he asks them to deactivate Toby when they find him. Meanwhile, Astro is taken to the children's hideout. Astro meets a man named Hamegg, a robot repairman. All the children are orphans and have been welcomed into this new one family, so it is no surprise that Astro is welcome. That evening, Hamegg talks to Astro when he tells him that he had been the head of research at the Ministry of Science along with Dr. Tenma and the others, but that for some reason he had been banished. Astro decides not to reveal his identity because he wants a new family and to play with the other children, like any normal child. The next day Astro and the other children go looking for robot parts to give to Hamegg. Later, Hamegg will repair the robots found by them and they will be used in the robot play area. During the search, Astro finds a large, very old robot. He enters the robot and tries to figure out what damage caused the robot to die. Then he shares his blue energy with the big robot, managing to reactivate it. Not long after the robot is activated, the children bring them to Hamegg. Hamegg is very surprised by the arrival of the big robot and they name him Zog. When Hamegg checks Zog's body with an energy detector, he accidentally hits Astro. Hamegg seems to know that Astro is a robot. Later, Astro and the other children work together to clean up Zog. In addition, they decorate Zog's body as they like. Now Zog is finally part of Astro's new family. That night, Astro sees Cora trying to make a phone call, but her cell phone was broken. He then tries to help her by using his blue core, making the cell phone work again. Later, Cora confesses that she is from Metro City, and Astro promises to keep the girl's secret. Although she wants to know more about him, Astro still dares not say anything about his real identity. One day, there is a robot competition in which robots fight each other in a tournament. Hamegg, who knew that Astro was a robot, he suddenly electrocutes the boy until he faints. Later, Astro was brought into the arena to fight against the robots. One robot after another is defeated by Astro. Even when dozens of robots attack at once, Astro manages to defeat them easily. Astro sees Cora sitting in the audience, but she seems disappointed in him because he has not been honest with her. Later, Astro has to fight Zog, but he does not want to fight the robot he saved. Fortunately, Zog understands Astro's feelings, now he considers him a friend. Hamegg gets angry and he starts electrocuting Zog, but he is blocked by Astro. Seeing Astro tortured by Hamegg angers Zog. When Zog is about to trample the man, Hamegg is saved by Astro. Meanwhile, the president and the general find out where Astro is and have mobilized their troops to capture him. Zog immediately attacks the soldiers who want to take Astro away, but Astro chooses to surrender because he does not want to endanger his friends. The president is very excited to get the new power. The president immediately takes Astro to the research room, where his father and Elephant are. Dr. Tenma and Dr. Elephant try to stop the president from removing the blue core, because that would kill the boy. But the president does not want to listen to them at all. Dr. Tenma then locks the president in a glass cage and he frees Astro. The president, enraged, he orders his men to arrest Dr. Tenma and Dr. Elephant on charges of treason. Subsequently, the president takes the red core and he inserts it into a robot. The robot, which had just awakened, he sucks the president into its body. The robot then sucks in all the objects around him and turns them into weapons, and his body is now giant. Astro tries to fight the robot by shooting it, but his shot has no effect on the giant robot. Astro then tries to use his physical strength, and he manages to hit the robot with ease. The battle takes place in the heart of the city, destroying it. Astro does not fight alone. He is helped by Korra and the other children. During the battle, the robot's attack destroys Metro City's power source, causing the floating city to lose power. Electricity is lost and the balance of the city is altered. Slowly the city is about to plummet. Astro goes directly to the bottom of the city and he lifts it up with his rocket so that the city could land safely and avoid millions of casualties. Astro fights against the robot with his bare hands. The robot captures Astro and he puts him in its red core, but the two robots explode. Astro falls into a building and meets his father, who tells him that if the red core merges with the blue core, they will be destroyed together. Hearing this, Astro gets the idea to merge his core with the red core. He immediately flies toward the robot's red core and he fuses their cores together. This causes an explosion of energy. Although most of the city is destroyed, the inhabitants are happy since Astro had saved them. Suddenly the president appears from the rubble, but he is immediately arrested. Meanwhile, Astro, who has lost all his energy, looks as if he is dead forever. Everyone, including his father, feels very sad to have lost such a good-hearted boy. Suddenly Zog appears and Elephant asks the robot to share some of his body's blue core energy, given to him earlier by Astro himself. And soon Astro comes back to life. Astro is now a hero admired by all. At the same time, Korra also meets his family. Moments later, a tentacled alien shows up and shoots laser beams from his eyes. Seeing this, Astro prepares to fight the aliens to once again save the city and those he loves.